So when I was in high school, I took a class on psychology for 2 years, and it always got me interested in the body and the mind and how they work together and what things that can influence our mind and our bodies. So my first overall question that I'm going to start with is, how stressed are you? On a day-to-day basis, just think about your daily activities or lives. Maybe it's you're overwhelmed with your kids yelling and screaming at each other, or maybe it's like me and you just have a consistent to-do list that just never seems to end. Or maybe you have a lot of work or schoolwork or bills that just keep piling up, or loans or anything like that that you just feel just consistently are there. So how much does this affect you in your day-to-day life? So on a biological level, we all know that we have cells in our body, and within our cells there are these proteins called histones. And histones help decide which genes are expressed in our bodies. So this video shows us at the biological level what these histones look like. And if you look at the video, the yellow is the histone protein, and the blue is the DNA that's coiled around it. Now what this does is when these histones help decide which genes are expressed, meaning if we have white skin or blonde hair, when our DNA replicates, it replicates that same gene so that it continuously replicates the genes that we have for our bodies. Now, when we're stressed, our histones unravel. Our DNA unravels from our histones. So the histone on the top picture is a normal person who doesn't have a ton of stress, and the bottom picture is someone who has a lot of stress in their life and their histones have begun to unravel. Now this causes two different things. The first thing is that it causes unwanted genes to express. Now these things can be like depression, anxiety, and even as serious as sometimes as schizophrenia, and other issues that come alive because of the unraveling of histones. Another thing that this causes is DNA mutations, and this causes all different types of issues. One of those issues that DNA mutation causes is actually cancer. Now, we can't blanket say that stress causes cancer. That would be quite outlandish, and it's a much more complicated process than that. But we do know that we have a normal cell that has a DNA mutation, and then that mutation continues to replicate itself, which can sometimes end up as cancerous cells. And so, but we can say that stress causes our DNA mutations because of the unraveling of histones, and we can also say that our DNA mutations cause cancer. Now, when we're stressed, it directly affects our immune system. So if we can lower our stress, we can actually increase our immune system. We can make it stronger, which means we are less susceptible to disease. Now, our body and our minds work together in a way that just helps us to be able to know how we react together. So there's an entire field of study, this isn't just me speculating, but there's an entire field of study that's dedicated to the study of our minds, to our bodies, especially our immune system, and the whole field is called psychoneuroimmunology. And this field is dedicated specifically to how our mind works with our immune system and how they directly interact together. And the hormone that's released when we're stressed is called cortisol. And cortisol is the hormone that is the same exact hormone that's released when we feel that we're being attacked. So if we feel like we're being attacked by a lion, it's releasing cortisol. And that's what gives us that fight or flight response. So the fight or flight response is when we feel like we're being attacked by a lion. In my case, I'm running. I'm out of there. I'm flying. But if it's someone else, maybe you feel the need to fight or attack back. Probably not a lion, I hope, but maybe if it's some person attacking you, you might feel the need to fight back. In my case, I know I'm out of there. I'm flying. But, so why am I telling you all of this? Is it just to scare you and let you think that all my stress is going to give me cancer or schizophrenia? No, definitely not. There is good news, and the good news is that stress is something that we can control. We can control our stress. And there's lots of ways that people try to say that they can control their stress. There's lots of ways that people try to lower their stress levels. But the way that I'm going to talk about today is called mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness meditation is basically you are paying attention specifically to your body and your thoughts. And a lot of people start off by paying attention to their breathing because it's easy to concentrate specifically on your breathing. And if you have any, thoughts, you're not thinking about what am I going to make for dinner, or what am I going to do about later in the day, or the activities that I have to plan. You're thinking specifically just about your body and being. And so there are a lot of benefits to meditation, like it lowers our cortisol levels, it decreases our stress. It also helps us with lowering our blood pressure. It can also help us with having a much better cognitive functioning, so we're able to think and process better. So I know what you're probably thinking at this point is like, okay, now this sounds like something you would do if you just didn't believe in going to the doctor. Which a lot of people think, meditation, it's for people who just, they don't think that they should go to the doctor or don't believe in modern medication. In my experience of working in a psychology office, I actually know 2 different doctors who use this technique with their patients and other patients who are even on psychiatric medication. So and one of these doctors is an LPC therapist, and the other one is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and they both have used these techniques as doctors with patients. And these patients have suffered from things like depression and anxiety and eating disorders, even substance abuse. So if mindfulness meditation can help someone who has a mental disorder, think about how much it can help someone who is mentally healthy. So a lot of things that other people think is, I just don't have time to sit around and meditate. I've got kids and work and school and whatever else you have going on. And it's like, where am I even going to find the time to just sit around and meditate? It actually doesn't take that long. It can take you 10 minutes if you wanted to do it the way where you just sit and don't do anything but concentrate on meditating. But you can also do it when you're folding laundry or doing the dishes. As long as you're being mindful of what you're doing and paying attention to, doing the dishes specifically and not having thoughts about anything else, that's being mindful. You're mindful about your body and you're technically meditating, and you'll be able to get those same results. So the body achieves what the mind believes. This means that our bodies are controlled by our minds. Our minds can do powerful things. We've seen it in things like the placebo effect, where people are able to get better or feel better because they've been given a sugar pill, but they think that it's a medication that's making them better. It's really not. It's their minds. We've also seen it in things like mass hysteria, where there's an outbreak of a disease and people believe that they're starting to feel these disease symptoms because of the disease that's spreading around. They don't really have the disease, but their minds are making them feel like they have these symptoms that they really don't. So my challenge to you guys is either to take 10 minutes a day and try it, or more specifically, and probably an easier way to do this, is try to meditate while you're doing something. When you're folding the laundry, pay specific attention to folding the laundry. Don't think about what you're making for dinner. Don't think about anything else that you're doing. Specifically pay attention to the movements. And if you have, thoughts, that happens a lot, especially with beginners. Just notice that you did and then let it go. Just let it go. Try to concentrate on your breathing and what you're doing. And whether your chore for the day is going to be folding laundry or doing the dishes, my challenge to you guys is just try to imagine yourself doing the dishes and only think about that, because you can see these same exact results through this type of meditation. And I know that these benefits are going to be lifelong, and they can help in so many ways, probably